I was 16, and me and my friends, I'll call Evan and Jake, wanted to rent a hotel for the night since it was spring break. We got to the hotel and checked in. It had a really funky smell, but we still decided to stay there. Once we got to our room, it was about 3 p.m., so we decided to go swimming. The pool was downstairs, departed from the hotel. Once we got to the entrance, there was a man at least 6'3" with a black hood covering his face just facing us. I had panicked a little, but not out loud. We got into the pool and swam for a few hours until we saw the man again, sitting by a chair by the pool. I cleared my throat. Can I help you, sir? I asked him, but there was no response. I sat there a little paranoid and put my face back down in the water. When I looked at the bottom of the pool, there was another figure that was all black. I screamed like a little girl and ran for the door. But as I looked back, I saw nothing. Not the guy in the chair or the guy under the pool. My friends thought that I was just seeing things, but I know what I saw. I didn't feel like swimming anymore, so I decided to get dinner at a nearby restaurant. I got a table for me and my friends to sit at, and there once again, the man in all black was on the other side of the dining room. I had had enough. I went over there, but as I moved, I had lost track of him. He must have took off. After we ate, I decided this trip had gone too far, and we should leave tomorrow morning, but my friends did not like the idea. Once it was 10:30 at night, me and my friends had dozed off in the hotel room. I woke up to some weird noises, and I saw a shadow of the figure at the end of my bed. But I had reminded myself that I had set my hat right there, right before I went to bed. So I went back to sleep, but again, I was woken up about 30 minutes later to what seemed to be more noises. I was starting to get thirsty, so I reached under my bed where I had set my water bottle, but instead I grabbed something else. I was totally shocked by what I had felt. It was my hat. I have never been more scared in my life. I couldn't help but scream at the top of my lungs when I heard a voice next to my ear say, "You bastard." I jumped out of bed and realized that it was two men in black right there. I tried to fight them, but it was no use. Once they grabbed me and dragged me out of the room, I tried to scream, but there was this guy covering my mouth. I passed out and was woken in a stretcher. It had turned out that the two guys had stabbed me while I was passed out. As I awoke, the doctor let me know that the guys had gotten away. To this day, I always have a nightlight in my room, just so I can make sure that a shadow is really just a shadow. I'm 25 and female and have been living in Japan for a few years now, and one thing that I have quite often found are stalker encounters. It seems that in my area or anywhere that isn't a big city, now that I have to think about it, Japanese men can come to be quite obsessive with foreign women, especially fair-skinned, blonde, blue-eyed foreign women such as myself. I've dealt with quite a few situations where I was sure I would have been kidnapped. One such encounter was back in 2013 when I was in my third year of university. The following was a very brief encounter, but a terrifying one nonetheless. I was studying abroad at school in Saitama, making a lot of friends and having the time of my life. I joined the a cappella club and have had a group that I sang with. Together, there were 5 of us. They were all men, which made me uncomfortable at first, but we blended well together, and they felt more comfortable singing English songs with me to help me with the pronunciation. One day, after practice was finished, my group invited me to go shopping with them at a local supermarket to get things for a nabe party. For those who don't know, a nabe is basically a hot pot. You get a bunch of veggies and some meat, and you put a big pot on a little portable gas burner, and everyone gathers around and eats together. It's a huge part of Japanese culture, and a great way to hang out with friends. I was ecstatic that they had invited me. I was usually left out of these kinds of things at first because I was an outsider, whereas they had known each other since their freshman year. Over the few months that we had been singing together, they'd grown to be like a family to me, each one like an overprotective big brother, especially a guy named Kosuke. He was tall and a bit on the heavy side, but he was extremely charismatic. Whenever he saw me fumbling around, nervous or confused, he'd quickly appear by my side, throw a heavy arm around my shoulder, practically knocking me over while asking, "What's the problem, Taine-chan?" Anyway, at the Nate party, we all went to our friend's house for the party and ended up drinking and talking until pretty late. When my phone in my pocket vibrated to tell me I had a low battery, I finally saw the time and realized it was already 4 in the morning. The guys were getting ready to nap until the train started back up, but I was only a 30-minute walk away from my share house. I announced that I was leaving and started packing my stuff up. Kosuke offered to walk me home, but I told him I was fine. The sun would be rising soon, and it really wasn't that far. The cold would kill me before the walk did, I joked. They reluctantly agreed and saw me off, demanding I call them if anything happened. I made it to the station safely, marking the halfway point home. I descended the stairs to see a single car parked outside, with a man leaning against it, staring straight at me. It wasn't anyone I knew. He was older than me, in his mid-30s, maybe early 40s, his head turned, watching me as I walked down the stairs. Feeling uncomfortable with the unwanted attention, I rushed my pace a little, rubbing my hands together to fight the sudden chill that had overcome me. Though I was pretty sure it had nothing to do with the cold, I crossed to the other side of the street, avoiding him as best as I could. I avoided looking at him as well, but I heard the car door slam and the engine start up, headlights illuminating me, and he turned to drive alongside where I was walking. His window rolled down. "Hey," he said in Japanese, "are you alone?" I did not respond. "Where are you going? Do you speak Japanese?" I quickened my pace. "You're pretty. Let's hang out." I began power walking. The sluggish tiredness from the party was quickly being replaced with adrenaline. He pulled ahead, and I thought he gave up, but his car stopped not far ahead, and he put it in park, getting out. "Let's go home together." He was standing about 10 feet ahead of me. I stopped so I wasn't walking any closer to him. "Let's go home together," he repeated, a little more forcefully, stepping toward me. "Get in my car." I didn't have much time to think. I immediately turned left and sprinted into the park. There were only 4 entrances, all of which a car could not enter. It was a traditional Japanese-style garden, with tall bamboo trees and a pond of koi surrounding a gazebo in the middle. The man was in a no-parking zone, so he wouldn't leave his car alone. I heard him curse under his breath and jump back into the car. I pulled out my phone and immediately called Kosuke. Just my luck, though, he didn't answer. I tried the rest of my group. No one answered. I looked at the next exit just in time to see his car crawl by slowly, his head sticking out the window searching for me as I hid behind a grove of bamboo. Trembling in fear, I tried again and again with no success to reach the guys. I looked repeatedly at my 4 exits, always seeing him crawl by. He was circling the park, waiting for me to walk out so he could talk to me again, though I had a feeling talking wasn't really what he wanted to do. Just as I was about to cry, my phone lit up dimly with the phone call from Kosuke. "What's the problem?" he said jokingly. The other guys in the background were still joking around. In a rush of breath, I explained to him my current predicament. Though he didn't say a word the entire time, I could practically hear the smile leaving his face. The rest of the group had quieted too, and I heard one say, "What's going on? Is she okay?" He told me to stay put, and that he was on his way, but it was already 20 minutes out, and I wasn't sure that I had 20 minutes before the guy parked his car and came into the park to look for me. I looked behind me again, just in time to see him drive by that exit slowly. That's it. I'm cold, I'm tired, I'm scared, I want to go home. I'm going to run after he passes the next exit and turns the corner, I told him. "No," he said, "wait for me. I can run there and be there soon." But Kosuke wasn't a runner. I didn't think he could get there any faster than I could. He started to say something more, but my phone suddenly went dark. Dead battery. No turning back now. I waited a few seconds, and there he was, right on schedule. He crawled by the exit, then stopped. My heart was pounding so hard. I was sure he could hear it, but he looked hard and slowly around. The sun was starting to come up now, and he had a better view. It was really now or never. He slowly moved forward. I crept out of my hiding spot and moved toward the exit. I poked my head out and saw him turn the corner. I sprinted toward my house and didn't look back. I was too scared to. I don't know if he saw me and I was too fast to follow or what, but I never saw the guy again. I immediately put my phone on the charger and called the guys back to let them know I was okay. But Kosuke never let me walk home alone in the dark ever again. This story begins during my freshman year of college, in my first fall semester. I was making a lot of new friends in my classes, and I was having a lot of fun, so I was starting to get to be a little bit more outgoing. When one day, I see this guy, and I've never seen him talk to other people before, so I must have realized he was a little shy. So I came up to him and said, "Hey, what's up?" Started chatting up with him. It seemed like his face had lit up, and he seemed super happy and interested to talk to me. After class, we exchanged numbers, and I went on my way without thinking anything about it. Later that night, I get a text from him saying, "Hey, what's up? Do you want to hang out?" I let him know that I was studying for our exam and that I was busy, but maybe this weekend, if it was okay. He said, "Yeah, that's fine," and that was that. The next time we had that class together, he sat next to me again, and again we started chatting, but I started getting a weird vibe from him. Almost like he was digging into too much personal stuff. He was asking me where I lived, what I like to do, where my family's from. Just questions that seemed nice, but the way that he was putting them out made it seem a little bit odd. Anyways, the weekend came, and I'd forgotten that I had made plans with him, and me and my friends had gone out to a party. Well, halfway through the party, I get a text saying, "Hey, I thought we were going to hang out today." It was from him. I told him I was so sorry, I had forgotten about this, I did not mean to bail, but I would make it up to him. I didn't get a text back, and that was that, I thought. So, me and my friends get home late, and as I come into my room, I just feel like some stuff is out of place. I can't tell exactly what, but I just feel this weird, cold feeling that someone was in here without my knowledge. As I'm getting ready for bed, I can't quite shake the feeling, and I hop into my bed and start falling asleep. As I'm halfway between awake and asleep, I swear I hear something out of my window, and as I look out, there's nothing there. So I start thinking, something's got to be going on, I must be a little bit drunk, but I just have this weird feeling. I decide to go out into the living room to kind of make myself a snack, see if I can calm down. I'm cooking, I don't hear anything, I don't see anything. I get done eating, and as I walk back into my room, I had left my lights off, but I notice a shadow staring inside of my room from the window. I freak out and I yell out to my roommates. They come running in, but by the time they get here, the shadow's gone. Now, I can't say for sure who that was staring in from the outside window, but what I can say is that I have this strange feeling that it was the guy from my class. I never asked him, I immediately blocked him after that night, and he never came up to me in class, ever, again.